Hello everyone and welcome to this module in which we'll be starting how to code in Jupyter IPython notebook. Now let us dive in and see what are different type of variables or different type of basic data types available in Python. Now for that please make a new Jupyter IPython notebook and in that you can start coding. For now basically we have four different types of data types or four different ways in which you can define a variable. Now first one is integer. So any number which is not having a decimal form is called as an integer. This would be a very basic data type. Unlike any other programming language, that is C, CPP or Java, here you don't need to define like int is equals to or anything of that sort. Here you can simply define a is equals to 5 and it will take a as an integer variable. So for that, let us see how it goes. So let us define a variable a and I'll just zoom it a little bit for you. So let us define a variable a is equals to 5 and just simply run it by pressing shift enter. Now we have our variable a which is having a value of 5. Now if you want to print this, you'll have to write print round brackets of a, and when you will run it you'll get whatever is stored within your a variable. Similarly, even if you write directly a and hit shift enter, you'll as well get the output as 5. This would be showing the value of variable a, and when we use print, it is printing the value of a. The difference you can see that there it is not coming as output, this is as input and output. Okay, this is the very small difference. Generally we do use printing method only to get or fetch value of a variable. Now this is how we print in Python 3. Like I said that there was some kind of syntactical difference in writing a code in Python 2 and Python 3. So if you were to be writing or printing a code in Python 2, you could have simply written print a. You don't even need to use round brackets for that. But here if you run this, it will throw you an error that missing parenthesis in call to print. Understood? So this is how, and it will suggest you that please use this particular format. So when you will correct it, you will get your output as a. Now this is the simple difference, or how do we define a variable in an integer format. Now there is also a reserved keyword called as type, and this is a function. So if you pass your variable a in this, you'll get what is the basic data type of this particular variable. So if you write this and run this, you'll get int. This means that our a is of integer data type. We have not specified it anywhere yet. This would take it as an integer if you don't have any float value or any decimal value. So this is how it goes. Now similarly, let us try to define a variable which is in a float format. So for that, we'll just have to simply use a decimal point and write anything after that. That would be coming in the float format. So for that, let us have b is equals to say 10.5. When we'll write this 10.5 and when we'll run this. So when you will write print similar manner b, you will get output as 10.5, and when you will try to fetch this, as in we'll try to check what is the data type behind it, try to pass this in type of b, when you will run it, you will get output as float. This means that it have automatically considered this value of b as a float value because it is 10.5 and it is having a decimal point. Similarly, if you want to define a string value, for that in Python we use quotes. So there is a different kind of nomenclature for if you will use a single quote or a double quote, but let's try to define a single simple value of a type string. So for that, let us have c is equals to quotes and let us write hello world, and let us give an exclamation as well and run it. So this is a C, and if you want to print this C, we'll simply write print round brackets of C. when we'll run this, you can see you are getting output as hello world. Awesome. Now this is a point where you have done your first program of printing hello world in a programming language which is called as Python. Yes. Now if you want to show this, you will simply write C, shift enter. You can see the output is coming as hello world, but this time this is coming within the quotes. So this is a very small difference how your print and showing the output or showing the variable works. Now there is a small nomenclature for strings, that is when do we use single quote or when do we use a double quote. Now I can show you the difference. Like we'll again use a double quote and write hello world and exclamation, run it, and then in the next line again I can write print of D. You'll get the same output which you will getting with a single quote as well as you are getting that with the double quotes. There is no difference in both of them. But according to the standard nomenclature, we use single quotes when we are writing a single word. We use double quotes when we are writing more than one word which involves some certain spaces between. We use triple quotes as well when we are writing some paragraph. So if you want to print a paragraph in different lines, that time you can use triple quote as well. So this is how the different scenarios in which you will be using single, double and triple quote. I'll just show you this with an example. So if you want to print a single word, you can write say hello. Next line let's write hello, and within double quotes write hello world. Let's give exclamation as well, and so these are the two words, and in the next line let's write and use triple quotes. So you can see 3 times single quotes means a triple quote, and here let's write hello world, enter, how are you today, and run it. So you can see first output of this print is coming as hello. Second output, when you are using more than a word in a sentence, you are getting the same output, and in the next line when you are writing this within a triple quote, you are getting this in 2 different lines. So this is how our single, double and triple quote works. One more major utility of single and double quote is that when you want to show a quote, that is you want to show an apostrophe s, at that time you can use that within a double quote. Okay, so for that let's try to write something, print and write that he is, so you'll have to write that in double quote, and he is unwell today, exclamation. So when you will run this, you can see that we are successfully able to show or print our single quote. If you would have used a single quote instead of a double quote, your parenthesis, your quotes would have got closed over here itself, and when you will run it, you will fetch an error. So to overcome this, you will have to write this in a double quote. So this is again a utility of your double and single quote. Similarly, when you want to write something in a direct indirect speech wherein you want to use single quote as well as a double quote, then everything you can write within a single quote. This is how you can make use of it. So I'll just write down a similar example for you in this. So he said that, and let's write that in a, so we'll have to use a triple quote for that. So 3 times quote, he said that, and comma, double quotes, she is unwell today, and run it. So you can see I was successfully able to write single quote as well as double quote within a triple quote. So this is how you can make use of your single, double and triple quotes. Now this was all about strings. Now let us just try to understand like what was the data type of this particular thing. So if we want to check data type of string, you can just simply write type and D. So you'll get str. This means it is in a string format. Now we have one more special data type or basic data type left, which is called as a boolean, which is our true and false. So in Python, make sure that you write T with capital in true and F with capital in false, because it is case sensitive. It won't accept if you write true in small or lower cases. So for that, simply we'll define a variable called as say F is equals to, and this time we'll write true and run, and then we'll try to print our F. We'll run it, it would be true. Similarly, we'll try to check what is the type of F. We should get it as bool. Bool means it is of type boolean. So to summarize this particular section, we studied everything about different basic data types, that is int, float, as well as string and boolean. Within strings, we saw how to use single, double and triple quotes and use our print function. In the next chapter, we will be studying about arithmetic operations on this data types. Thank you.